Welcome to Knights This Week with your host and superfan Jason Banks coming at you again. This show is going to be a little different because this is kind of going to be just a short little show, and I also wanted to put a video up just to kind of explain the status, kind of like what will be happening with this show in the next month or so, okay? So that's what I wanted to do. So this is Knights this week, but there is no London Knight games to really talk about. They've been on Christmas break. And obviously, once Boxing Day comes here, we have a yearly tradition. Every year, it's watched by lots of people. It is kind of a huge tournament, and that is the World Junior Hockey Championships. And that's being held in Buffalo this year. So really close to home. So I want to talk about that for a short time and give you an update on where things are with that, okay? So I'm going to do that for you today. Let me just bring up something here. I got to bring up something for you. But yeah, as I'm doing this, let me just continue to talk. First and foremost, I want to let all you viewers out there know, and anybody who may watch these videos, have interest in these videos, that there may not be videos up that much in the next month, and that is because I'm just going to be super busy, because I am going to be pretty much probably for a lot of January, I'm going to be moving. Obviously, anybody who's been through a move would know it's quite time consuming, it's quite hectic, it's very busy. So that being said, I can't make a promise that there are going to be many videos up in the next month. I love doing these videos. I love talking about my London Knights. I love letting you guys know what's happening with the London Knights. But right now, it's not a guarantee what's going to be happening in the next month. So hopefully by February, maybe even there might be a couple up in January, I don't know, but definitely in February, hopefully you're going to see those weekly videos on a regular basis again, and, the move will be all done, and then we'll just be reorganizing the new place and trying to get it all set up. So, that's what's going to be happening in the next little bit, okay? Let me just, in the meantime, what I'm just doing is bringing something up here about the World Juniors, okay? So, here we go. So let's get caught up with what's happening with the World Junior Hockey Championships being held in Buffalo. Now, the cool thing about this tournament is that they played 2 exhibition games right here in southwestern Ontario. So that was really cool that they did that. They had a game right here in London where Canada played the Czech Republic, and Canada just absolutely demolished the Czech Republic by a score of 9-0. Just completely demolished them. So that is what happened in that exhibition game. Then they played an exhibition game in Hamilton, the home of my mom. Hi, Mom. And yeah, she lives in Hamilton, right by the rink. And they played an exhibition game there, playing Switzerland, and Canada also won that game fairly handily, 9-1. So those were the 2 games that Canada played in the exhibition. So what I want to do is I'm just going to talk very quickly about the World Juniors and give you kind of an update on where things are. Let's trace back to yesterday, shall we? Let's talk about that for a few minutes. How many here liked that game yesterday? Anybody? And I'm talking, if you're living in a completely oblivious world, I'm talking about the Canada-USA matchup. Canada played the USA. Yeah, they played the USA, and it's usually a yearly game these two teams play. But I'm not sure if they played the USA last year other than the gold medal game. I think it was just the gold medal game last year they played them. They didn't play in regulation, but anyway, how many people here liked that game yesterday? Raise your hand. It was the first outdoor game in World Junior Hockey Competition. What are your thoughts on that? What did you think of the outdoor game? I'll tell you what I thought of it. I thought the outdoor game in such a short tournament like that is a rather... I don't like the idea. It's one thing if you do it in the NHL occasionally where you have an 82-game schedule. But this is such a short tournament where every game is important. And I kind of felt sorry for the people out there in that game yesterday because it wasn't a very nice day. Just shortly after the game started, the snow started to fall, and it continued to fall the entire game. And so that's one thing that was a little bit of an issue to me. And, I think if it's snowing that heavy, you might want to rethink about having it outside. It affected the conditions, definitely affected the ice, and it made for a pretty tough game for everybody. And it was annoying, too, because usually what happens in regular hockey is they switch ends and nets after every period. But they were switching them every 10 minutes in the period, switching sides. And so that kind of stopped the gameplay a bit, too, slowed it down. It was a little frustrating. But anyway, Canada and the U.S. played a pivotal game because these two teams are right now they're the cream of their group. Both teams have a shot to finish first in that group. Let me just get to the game action a bit in this one, shall I? Canada got out to a good start in this game. They got the first 2 goals of the game, so they got out to a 2-0 lead. But I don't know what it is about the USA and Canada. I really don't know because it seems like Canada cannot hold leads against the USA. It's like the USA is Canada's kryptonite or something because a 2-0 lead would not hold up. And Canada didn't play very disciplined. They took some stupid penalties yesterday that cost them as well. The first goal coming off courtesy of a power play by the USA made it 2-1. So that's what got a 2-man advantage, too, for the USA on that power play. Canada would strike back quick, though. I'll give them credit for that. They struck back with a goal about like 3 minutes after that goal to restore the 2-goal lead. So it was a quick strike back. Boris Katchouk from the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds got that goal to make it a 3-1 game. With the weather conditions deteriorating after 2 periods of play, a 3-1 lead, even the commentators are saying most times that's probably a good lead. Because most times in bad conditions like that, a team doesn't usually come back from that kind of deficit. But no. The USA did. Canada let them back in. The USA got another power play in the 3rd period and again scored on it to make it 3-2. And then it was shortly after that, I think it was only a minute and a half after that, they got another goal to tie it at 3. And then the game went to overtime. And this is where this outdoor game element was kind of a little frustrating because an overtime, it was a 5-minute overtime, they agreed to switch ends after 2.5 minutes. So it didn't matter what was happening at that 2.5 minutes, the whistle was blown, whoop, switch sides. So that was a little annoying, especially because at that point Canada was really pressuring in the US's end, and then all of a sudden the play is whistled dead and they got to switch ends. So a little annoying. The overtime solved nothing, so it went to a shootout where Canada just got absolutely whitewashed in the shootout. Wasn't even close. Canada could not score in the shootout, and the USA scored the first 2 goals in the shootout, and that's all they needed. So the USA would come back to defeat the Team Canada 4-3 in that game, in the first ever outdoor game. It was very well attended, actually. I think it was 47,000 people or something, so great attendance, but poor weather conditions. Canada cannot seem to hold a lead against the USA, and now that's 5 straight losses in this competition versus the USA. As I said, the USA seems to be Canada's kryptonite, and Canada blows this game, very much like the gold medal game last year. Canada had 2 2-goal leads in that game. They did in this one as well, but could not hold on to either one of them. So very, very frustrating game if you're a Canadian fan. Now, the bright spot about that game is Canada did get a point for an overtime loss. The USA only got 2 points as opposed to 3. So, the USA was defeated by Slovakia the day before. Rather big upset, really, that Slovakia beat the USA. So, Canada is still in good shape, relatively speaking, because all they need to do is beat Denmark in their final game, and I would think they can beat Denmark. That should be a game Canada handles very easily. Canada just has to win against Denmark. It doesn't matter what the USA does in their last game against Finland. If Canada beats Denmark, they clinch first place in the pool, and they should get a favorable quarterfinal matchup because of that. So that's what's happening with the World Juniors. Canada, in their first 2 games, actually won their first 2 games. They defeated Finland on Boxing Day 4-2. They defeated Slovakia, same team that beat the USA, 6-0 on the next day. So Canada right now has not lost a regulation game, and they continue to not lose a regulation game. They will get first place in that group. So that's positive there. Let's take a look at what's happening in the pools, shall we? And this is what's happening. Canada is on top of their pool. They got 2 wins and an overtime loss for 7 points. So that puts them 2 points ahead of the USA. So as I said, Canada beats Denmark in regulation, which they should. That pool is Canada's. Now, if that game against Denmark goes to overtime and Canada loses a point, USA could tie them in points, and I don't know how that tiebreaker's decided. I guess it would be decided on the head-to-head action, which the USA won. So Canada does need to beat Denmark in regulation to clinch first. Finland has 3 points in that pool, as does Slovakia, and Denmark has only played 2 games. They got more games they have to play, but they've lost them both. They've scored 1 goal, given up 13. So as I said, Canada should win the game against Denmark easily for first place in the pool. Over in the other pool, not a surprise to see who's on top. We got 2 teams on top. Although the one team has played 1 less game, so they are technically on top. Sweden is 2-0 with 6 points. They've looked pretty good in their 2 games. Russia also has 6 points, but they played 3 games, and they have a loss in one of those games. So Russia is actually got 6 points, but technically Sweden has got that 1 less game. Czech Republic has 3 points. Switzerland has 3. Belarus has lost 3 games. So they only have 1 left. They have not played very good. Belarus probably will be the team being relegated, as would Denmark be relegated in the other group, I would imagine. So that's what's happening in the World Juniors right now. So Canada does play tonight. They wrap up their round robin against Denmark, And then should they win that, they'll finish first in their pool and play the fourth place finisher in Group B, which right now would look to be either Switzerland or Czech Republic. Either scenario would probably be a good matchup for Canada. Canada just absolutely, totally blew them away in exhibition play in those games. So that's where the World Juniors are right now. And hopefully Canada will get to at least the semifinals. But going to have to play better than they did yesterday, that's for sure, because the USA did deserve to win yesterday's game. The USA outshot them by quite a bit. I think it was around 30-18 the shots for the USA. So the USA played a good game. They deserve to win. Give them credit for coming back in that third period in the crappy weather conditions. But Team Canada did help them for sure with undisciplined play and not playing their game the way they can play their game. So that's where the World Juniors are right now. So hope everybody loves watching the World Juniors. Great action. And it's fun to watch every year. And as I said, now I don't know where I'll be for the next month. There's going to be lots of work to do, very busy. But if you don't see me for a little bit in January with London Knight videos, that is why. Okay. So that is my video this week. A little bit of a shorter video, just 15 minutes or so. Just getting you caught up on the World Juniors and letting you know what may be happening with this little podcast in January. So I'll be looking forward to bringing you this show from a new place and new surroundings, and that will be very exciting. So London Knights, let's get back to them. They actually, this would be in my next week's recap, but I don't know if there will be a recap next week. But they did play a game just on Thursday in Flint. The London Knights did lose that game, unfortunately, in a shootout, I believe. Did go to overtime, at least. But they got beat by Flint. So yeah, that's pretty tough to lose to Flint. They're not a very good team this year. Now, Joseph Raymakers got injured in that game, so that's a bit of a concern for the Knights, considering how much he has played since they've acquired him. Now, they took him out for precautionary reasons, they're saying it might not be a serious injury, so let's hope it's not, because that could really, really negatively impact the London Knights if it is. And then back to what would be on my recap next week if I was doing one, that game, and plus they have their yearly tradition. It's been there for I think at least 15 years. They play the Sarnia Sting back to back on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So they are in Sarnia on New Year's Eve, and then they have a game here on New Year's Day at Budweiser Gardens versus them at a 4 o'clock puck drop. So that's what's happening on that front. That's a little bit scary, considering the London Knights have got 3 of their best players off at the World Juniors, and Sarnia has got such a good team this year. So be interesting to see what happens with that. Although I know Sarnia does have a player playing for Team Canada. I'm not sure how many other players they have in the World Juniors, but Jordan Kyrou is on Team Canada. He's a good little player. He's played pretty good in the games that Canada's played so far. So that has been Knights this week for you this week. Basically a little short video, and I wanted to let you know what's happening in the next month, possibly with the Knights this week video. Okay? So, until the next time I see you, take care, and cheer on the Knights. Go, Knights, go! Cheer on Team Canada. Yeah, if you're in the USA, I'm sorry. But go Canada, go. And we'll see you next time on my weekly video. This is your host and fan, Jason Banks, signing off for now.